Hey, what's going on, you stingy stabilized? Today we're playing some games with Green's Dragapult. Now, this list comes to us from Porcion Killer 03. I hope I got that name correctly or somewhat correctly. They just won the first Hegster tournament with Battle Styles Legal. So that's super cool. And this list is super cool. And I'm a huge fan of Green's deck. So when I saw it, I was like, I want to play some games with that. And I was like, why not bring you guys, as always, along for the ride? So we're playing some Dragapult VMAX Green's today. I mean, there's nothing really too crazy once you look at the list. I mean, it's Dragapult, of course. Decent amount of energy denial with the 4 Crushing Hammer and the 2 Fan of Waves. Fan of Waves, a new card from Battle Styles. Rapid Strike card. Put a special energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon on the bottom of their deck. So you take the special energy from the Pokemon, bottom of the deck. Not quite as good as Enhanced Hammer, but it's still solid special energy removal. Because you took an energy out of play, so now they have to like reattach for the turn if they want to be to the same point that they were at last turn as far as energy and play goes. A 1/1/1 Omastar line in the list, which does always kind of fit reasonably well into Green's decks. It's here, the 1/1/1 Omastar, 1 Rare Candy, 1 Omastar, 1 Unidentified Fossil, and then the only other Pokemon in here is that Blacephalon with the Fireworks Bomb, which says if your opponent has exactly 3 prize cards remaining, put 12 damage counters on your on your opponent's Pokemon any way you want. And if they have any other prize count, it does 4 damage counters. But theoretically, they knock out a Dragapult VMAX, you send up the Blacephalon, it does Fireworks Bomb, and then you kind of go from there. And one way that we can kind of transition between these attackers really well is actually EXP share. There's 2 EXP share in this build, so we can open up with like a Dragapult VMAX, they KO that, we have an EXP share on our Blacephalon, one of our hopefully we have a basic energy on the active VMAX at that point, one of our basic energy moves back to the Blacephalon. We attach return, and then we use Fireworks Bomb, and then maybe we have an EXP share on our second Dragapult VMAX that we plan on using to close out the game. They KO the Blacephalon, and then we kind of attack with the second VMAX through the EXP share there. Besides that, heavy power plant, gotta try and hit those Urshifus for weakness. So there's 3 power plants in here. We'll be able to shut down that Jirachi GX, and also just kind of good against a lot of things right now. Mewtwo's pretty popular as well, and they're playing Jirachi GX in those Welder Mewtwo decks that are floating around a little bit. So shutting down those, shutting down to Dene at all points against any deck is never bad. So that is always good as well. And yeah, like I said, it's a Greens deck, and that's why I'm most excited to try this out. I love playing Greens decks. I'm a huge fan. I just love the style of play, I guess, or like the way the decks flow through with Greens decks, being able to search out any 2 cards to set up the exact plays that you want to set up for the current turn, for the future turns. I always feel like is a ton of fun to try and figure out what the exact 2 cards you want to get off of Green's exploration is. So that's why I was so excited once I saw this deck. I was like, I really want to play some games with this. So I'm bringing you guys this video today with the Green's Dragapult VMAX deck. Nothing really else to say about the list, so let's go ahead and let's play some games. All right, here we go, getting into our first game. I would imagine we would want to go second because we are a Greens deck, but I also have no experience with this list or deck at all, so I don't actually know for sure. I do know we opened up the Blacephalon, which is not our ideal starter. We definitely want to open up with one of those Dragapult Vs. We are up against a Urshifu deck here, the Urshifu Single Strike. So yeah, I mean, I have no idea what to expect. I've never played any games with this deck before. I played some games with Green's Dragapult before in the past, but it's a whole new format, whole new meta since the last time I played with Green's Dragapult. So really don't have too much of an idea of what to expect, to be honest. Let's start with this Crushing Hammer. Let's see how this goes. Love to see the heads. One of the things that I thought was super iffy, not gonna lie, about this deck is there's only 1 quick ball. So that makes things, I'm a little bit scared. I'm a little bit scared about only 1 quick ball in the deck. I think I'm gonna grab the quick ball though, and probably just an Evolution Incense. I could leave the Evolution Incense and go for something a little bit, that'd be a little bit harder to find, because finding the Dragapult next turn wouldn't be the hardest thing to find, to be honest, but this does just kind of set it up nicely to guarantee it. Go ahead and get rid of a Psychic Energy, grab the Dragapult V, bench, attach, and go ahead and pass over to my opponent. But I could have found, like, we have 6 outs to the Dragapult VMAX, and I think they were all in there. Both Evolution Incense were in there, and I'm pretty sure all the VMAXs were in there. So we get 6 outs to it off our research next turn, so that's like pretty reasonable odds to hit it, to be honest. So I could have gone with something like, to be honest, I can't even know. Second quick ball, if there was 2 quick ball in the deck, I definitely would have gone for a second quick ball there to get another Dragapult V, I think. There's not. And it looks like we might be stuck for a turn here. We'll see. They can't get the knockout here. Maybe I should have actually gone Greens, and then I could have gone Greens for switch, plus the Evolution Incense next turn. That could have been a play I could have made actually instead of what I actually did here. But this Pokégear could get us a green still, so we could still make that happen. And if not, we just have the research to go with, which is just fine, I think. But yeah, if this gets us a greens, could use that greens, could get that switch. And we do want to try and utilize the Blacephalon. Utilizing the Blacephalon would be great. That's definitely something we want to try and do. So definitely like to use, yeah, definitely would like to utilize it. That's it. We just want to use the Blacephalon if we can. Here comes our first single strike roar. I'm assuming it's going to go to the bench. Yeah, set up the benched Urshifu VMAX if they can. Here comes that laser focus. Go ahead and grab themselves some energy. Yeah, we'd love to get the KO here. They don't have the Jirachi GX in play. So let's use this first, thin that out of the deck. Let's check. Is the switch here? The switch is here. So we can get a greens off this. Pretty good. There's a Bill's analysis. Bill's is like basically research because it looks at 7 takes 2 trainers. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave the Bills in the deck, evolve, attach the horror energy, and then just play the research because it's Bill's is basically research, except with research I get to see all the cards, which is just a little bit better. Got a Crushing Hammer, gonna go ahead and throw that out. And I almost think I want to go after their special energy on the bench because I don't want them to build up enough single strike energy in play to actually one-hit KO a Dragapult. That's what I'm trying to avoid here. Once again, with our current hit, we don't have another Dragapult V. Once again, like I kind of mentioned, it's kind of a scary thing that can definitely happen with this deck because we just don't have many outs to Dragapult V. We don't have a ton of outs to Dragapult V. We're staring down this Urshifu VMAX now. They don't quite have enough. They need a lot. They need all 4 single strike energy to actually one-hit KO a Dragapult VMAX though. So I'm not too worried about getting one-hit KO'd anytime soon. I do have to decide where I'm going to put my max phantom damage. That is going to be interesting for sure. Where am I going to put my max phantom damage? And actually, if I hit them too hard, is the scroll just going to knock me out? So I'd hit him for 260 damage, 70 resistance. We should be good. We should be fine, actually, to be honest. I don't think they'll be able to. If they get 4 single strike energy in play, they'll be able to hit me with this anyways. Actually, maybe, to be honest, we'd maybe be in trouble. But they're gonna knock us out with the G-Max 1 blow here. I could boss KO. I could boss KO a Houndoom because my hand basically only has an out to basically go boss KO Houndoom. They're splitting up their single strike energy now though, which means they actually can't. Once again, now they can't one-hit KO. This thing is actually I can almost knock this out. Because we do 260 damage. They are weak to Psychic. All right, goodbye, Blacephalon. Oh, they actually did the big attack there. That looks like, unless they were trying to get the single strike energy into the discard pile. No Dragapult V. Oh, man. I kind of wanted to chase a Houndoom here. I'm also just fine to kind of hit this really hard. That doesn't seem terrible. Then do I have to be scared of if I do 260, I got the scroll. They're doing 270. Put 2 single strike energy here. It would KO me with the scroll. Is what I'm scared of here. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this here. But just KOing both of these seems so good. That's the route I want to take. I only need to do 10 more damage on this one. Yeah, I could boss KO a Houndoom, but that also gives them a bench space to work with, which I really don't like. So we're gonna go max Phantom. We're just gonna hit it, and we're definitely in a situation where we have to like kind of hope for the best here. Definitely one of those situations. I may as well just put all 5 here, and just in case it gets Jirachi in play and it makes a difference. Yeah, this seems fine. I mean, if they hit us with their active with like a beatdown or like the scroll, if they hit us with a scroll, then they will take 40 damage from the horror energy, and then we could go boss win the game by KOing both Urshifu VMAXs. So that's possible here. I think that was definitely a mistake by my opponent. They didn't need to use the G-Max 1 blow. They could have KO'd me with the they could have KO'd this Blacephalon. Oh, there's the switch. Question is, do they have the urn? If they get the urn, they do just win. There's 2 single strike in the discard pile, 2 single strike on this Urshifu VMAX. So the urn would mean that's it. Here comes a research, I'm sure, from my opponents. Can they find the urn? Because they can get the energies in play through the Houndooms. There's another Houndoom. That's not an urn. They're playing kind of slow, so I feel like that's good for us. There's a unhappy face. Can we top deck a Dragapult? Please. I would love it if we could top deck a Dragapult here. We're so close to being able to make a comeback in this one, I feel like. We've been in a rough spot most of this game. They're actually running away, but we have the boss to chase. Urshifu. Crushing Hammer is not what we're looking for. All right, I guess we're chasing Urshifu. We get the KO, which is great. I don't want to put any more damage on this one, though, because then the scroll all of a sudden becomes a big threat. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and throw it all on 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5, like that. I don't actually... Maybe I should have put it both on the same Houndoom. Yeah, I don't want to put any more damage on that Urshifu VMAX, though. If I had another basic Pokemon, I would. If I had a basic Pokemon, what would happen is they could... If I put 5 here, they hit into me, the Horror Energy would do the damage back to them, and we'd win the game that way. But that is not going to happen in this situation. Comes a Quick Ball. Yeah, they need an Urn and a Scroll. If they play the Scroll, we haven't seen any Scrolls yet. So they might not even play Scrolls. That is actually possible that they just don't play the Scrolls. Tower of Darkness. There's an Urn. That's not enough, though. They need a Scroll. I guess they have triple Houndoom in play, though, so they could go... I feel like they have a Scroll. By the way they're playing, I feel like they've got a Scroll. This would be enough damage. This is 350. Currently, there's the research. Do they play Scroll? There's an Urn. That's not enough, though. Unless they can get access to one of those somehow and attach it while Houndoom out the other one. Oh, maybe I should have actually done more damage to this. I should have actually done... Well, I don't know. I was scared of Scroll. But I could have done 1 damage to this so they couldn't Houndoom it 3 times. There's the Scroll, though, so it doesn't really matter. Furious Anger. Yeah, if we had just had a basic Pokemon, we would have been able to match our opponent in this scenario. Yeah, we would have just won if we had a basic Pokemon. It's unfortunate. Yeah, second Quick Ball is maybe... Oh, it just took us to sudden death. All right. So it's not supposed to do this. I almost want to go first. No, let's go with no. Let's go second. Yeah, it's not supposed to do that because our opponent did win. Our opponent had 2 win conditions there. I benched out. So my opponent actually wins in that scenario. But I guess PTCGO is doing PTCGO things, so we're in a sudden death all of a sudden. We'll see how it goes. Turn 1 energy. This is basically the exact... We had like almost a mirrored starts here from me and my opponent here. 60 damage. The Houndour has 60 HP. I'm gonna play this. Let's see if this gets us a boss. It does not. Play Crushing Hammer. Heads, perfect. Greens, Exploration. This, and I think just the Evolution Incense is gonna be the grab here. I'm not gonna play it though, because we could get Marnied, and that could get weird. We could bite. I see no reason not to bite. I guess this could make things awkward later on with the Scroll. Yeah, this could make things awkward later on in the game because of the Scroll. Yeah, our opponent is supposed to win there. So the reason our opponent's supposed to win... So I draw my prize cards. My opponent draw their prize cards. But another win condition is Pokemon... Or the other win conditions in Pokemon is if you bench out or you deck out. And I benched out, which means my opponent met... They had 2 win conditions, and I only met 1. So my opponent is supposed to win the game. But I guess PTCGO is doing PTCGO things, so we're in a sudden death here. I am a boss away from winning the game. Maybe I should just held that Pokégear, because I would have thinned out the deck by the Energy Spinner by 3, and then Evolution Incense the VMAX away. So I probably should have chilled on that Pokégear. In my head, I was like, maybe I can greens for the... Maybe I can use greens here for the boss. But there's never a situation where I can greens for boss there. Oh, they're not even... Did they just not VMAX? They could have VMAXed there. They chose not to... All right, well, it looks like we're gonna walk away with an unofficial dub here over my opponent's single strike. They went first, right? I chose to go second. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. An unofficial dub over my opponent's single strike deck in the end because PTCGO doesn't know the official rules of the Pokemon trading card game. Okay, here we go again. Maybe we'll get another sudden death scenario. We'll see. That is not the correct Dragapult here, so we're gonna go ahead and give our opponent a mulligan to work with. But yeah, we'll see if we can replicate. That'd be funny if we're able to get another sudden death. Okay, double Dragapult V's. That is exactly what I'm gonna go and throw both down. Can't be hurt by escape rope in this scenario. This is exactly what we're looking for. And one of the things that I said that I feel like could be a little bit of a struggle to get going with this list where it only plays that one quick ball, right? Only playing that one quick ball. Only find one basic Pokemon with that. Got it. 2 Dragapult Vs off the start, which is great. And we have our quick ball to work with on top of all that. So that is also great. I'm looking at greens here for Energy Spinner. And then we could even quick ball away one of those energies and grab. First, we got to see what our opponent's playing, of course, and grab that Blacephalon. Oh, it looks like we are in a mirror match. Okay, not something you see very often or at all. Yeah, Dragapult. Now it makes me wish I hadn't benched this because I maybe would have held off like a turn before putting this in play. Now we do have a Crushing Hammer in hand, which might be able to come in play here to disrupt our opponent's energy. And one thing we definitely want to avoid putting in play ourselves. Let's see what this hit lands. That is a Tails. Is putting special energy in play because of Giratina. I mean, Hammer. I mean, not Hammer. What's the other one called? Fan. You get fanned. So we're gonna do this and play the Energy Spinner for 3. Omastar would definitely be a consideration to try and set up here. Let's get a Crushing Hammer heads here. No, another Tails, and we're gonna have to settle for a Bite on our opponent's Jirachi for 10 damage. Yeah, next greens can get us the Evolution Incense, which gives us Dragapult VMAX, and then another card to work with, which will probably have to be another greens or a research, but we'll see what we top deck. We could even top deck like a VMAX or an Evolution Incense and then grab 2 other cards off the greens, or we could top deck a greens or a research or whatever. But yeah, we want to avoid putting the Horror Energy in play because so many more ways to remove that than, oh no, not Escape Rope. Please don't Escape Rope with this Dragapult. Hopefully my switch isn't prized. But yeah, I really shouldn't have benched this in the end. At first I was like, I'm not afraid of Escape Rope. I guess I'm kind of afraid of Escape Rope. Yeah, so this should have never been benched. And now we might get into a little bit of trouble here. And I might get punished for benching this Dragapult, as my opponent can now go Escape Rope and then force this Dragapult into the active, which is where we don't want it to be. And yeah, that's just kind of unfortunate for us. There's a quick ball though. Maybe they won't Escape Rope. Maybe they do want to hit our active Dragapult V. I want them to think that, and I want them to go for that play. That'd be great if they go for that play. Definitely beneficial for us if they go for the hitting our active play, I think, and not force this up, because then my greens are very limited on our following turn, and we don't want that. There's a scoop up net. So it looks like the Escape Rope is not happening. Thankfully, they are settling for hitting our active, which is, to be honest, what I want. Because them forcing this up would make my greens so much more awkward. I don't want that. So we can use the fan here. And I think we're going to get a little bit greedy and just kind of live off the top deck here. Boss for the following turn. I think we need to try and get some way to try and find an advantage. And so that's why I think we like basically have to use this fan here and just kind of, we're living off the top deck. Go with the basic energy. I don't want to get my energy reset like we're about to reset our opponent's energy. Play the fan, goes to the bottom. Max Phantom, hit him up. But yeah, pushing our opponent's energies back into the deck repeatedly is just gonna have to be our strat here, our route here. And we're gonna get a new Dragapult V eventually with this quick ball. I don't want to get it this turn because then my opponent could split the damage on the Dragapult Vs. I want them to put 5 more here, and then I want to get a new Dragapult V and attach to it and start setting that up. All right, another Horror Energy, that's fine, but we could top deck the other fan, or greens, a research, a Pokégear, and punish them once again for putting a special energy in play. Another hit. What is our top deck? Is a Pokégear. So we're gonna quick ball first, and excuse me, I'm gonna get rid of a basic energy here because I do eventually want to use the Horror Energy. So we're gonna grab this. Greens would be great here, but there's only 1 greens in the deck. Actually, we priced quite a few supporters, I think. We priced the greens to research. Can we get anything off this? Got a research. That is good enough. Bench, throw down the Horror Energy, and play the research. Hopefully find our second fan. Hey, that's actually kind of insane. That's actually pretty insane. But throw the EXP share over onto here, actually, because I would like the option to attack with either of them. And then Max Phantom. Another 130 damage. Our opponent has that 60 HP left. So if we get energy to go back here, we can actually use Jet Assault for our next attack on our next turn, which would be perfect because it gets to knockout, and we don't have a VMAX in our hand. So that's like another reason it kind of works out really well. So we don't have a VMAX in our hand at all. So we couldn't use another VMAX anyway. So we can just go with that Jet Assault and then go into our final Dragapult VMAX, or what's looking to be our final Dragapult VMAX in this one. We're definitely in still a rough scenario, but our opponent is also not in that great of a scenario either, so that's good for us as well. They actually can just use what's it called as well. They don't have to Max Phantom, they can just use Shred to knock out my active. So it's possible I maybe should have held onto that fan to try and disrupt their second VMAX. It's possible. I could have maybe done that instead. Hold on to the fan. I got literally a little bit excited, but now that I like looked at the math and I've done the numbers. Shred here does just get the knockout. So maybe it wasn't that big of a deal that I actually removed that energy this turn at all, and maybe should have held on to it a little bit longer. I think, did they just get Scoop Up Net off Stellar Wish there? Okay, they're going back into the Jirachi. This is awkward now for sure. I think I should send up this Dragapult. I want to be able to move it, I think. Or if I top deck a VMAX, then I could VMAX plus Boss and target what I want to target. So that could also work out pretty well. So I think this is correct to send up here. And my opponent is desperate for some kind of draw support here. Use the Jirachi, reset the Jirachi. They're entering the Jirachi Stellar Wish loop here. And so far, no good results for them yet. Let's see if this Stellar Wish changes it up. But they're taking a long time, so I feel like it doesn't. I feel like this hasn't changed anything. And now they might even just be stuck. In which case, we can just retreat back to this one, Max Phantom. And I think we would go... how would I want to place my damage? I don't really want to hit this one anymore. But I could... We'll see what I guess my top deck would be a pretty big deal. Whatever my top deck is, could definitely change stuff for sure. But I could retreat Boss, actually. Retreat my active. Boss this up. They are playing Scoop Net, so I'm pretty sure that they would be playing Giratina. So basic energy being in play is a pretty big deal. I could Boss KO this one. I could actually even use Jet Assault to Boss KO this and just not retreat at all. Here comes a Boss from my opponent. So they still have another switch card. Okay, so they're just gonna bring this back up and knock it out. It looks like it is their end turn here, which is kind of funny because like it basically didn't change anything. They do get 3 prize cards to work with, but they're always going to get that. Now I have to decide what I want to attack with, actually, because I could set up this one and use Jet Assault, but I think just doing this one makes a little bit more sense. So I'm going to go with this one. No VMAX. We got Bill's analysis, so I think I'm just going to go with the Bills here, see what Billy can find us. Reset Stamp. There's a Greens and an Unidentified Fossil. I could go for the Greens and the Reset Stamp. That makes a little bit more sense, I think, to grab these two. Go with that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and throw a Horror Energy here, see if we can get a little bit of damage out of it. We'll see what my opponent has, but at the very least I have this basic energy I can use to retreat and then attach to my bench one and attack with the bench one, so that should work out just fine. And we get our 3 prize cards off our first KO. Yeah, there's definitely no reason to reset stamp them now. They just got 3 random cards off the prize cards. I could have reduced their hand size by 1, but if they're gonna knock this thing out this turn, actually they can't knock this thing out this turn. This Dragapult is gonna stick around for a little while, actually. There is a Marnie, though. So all of our good cards going back into the deck. I really do not want to VMAX my active this one. I don't want to VMAX this Dragapult. There's a VMAX. But we're going to VMAX the bench one, I think, here for sure. Do not want to VMAX our active because it already has that 100 damage on it, which means it's just not as good to VMAX. And we have 2 Crushing Hammer left. We have 2 Crushing Hammer left, so we can just still disrupt some energy from our opponent. They have no energy in play right now. And they won't find any this turn. There's one. And I actually wonder, I think they'll probably actually just sit behind this Jirachi for turn. And just attach here and basically just pass. They haven't used Stellar Wish yet, so they still got to do that. But yeah, I think they're probably just going to go attach, pass. They're just going to go attach, pass. There's really no reason for them to do anything else. Setting this up to use Bite doesn't make any sense. There's a Reset Stamp. I don't think they would use that here. It seems like a little bit of a waste, but it wouldn't be the most unreasonable thing for them to use it here. Okay, yeah, there's the pass. There's our VMAX. I almost want to put this down, but it could get trapped. But I might want to run to another Dragapult at some point. Power Plant. They could be playing to Dene. Who knows? A lot more. So we could evolve the active, and it doesn't make a ton of sense, I don't think. I do want to Max Phantom this turn. It doesn't feel that good to do it, but... Maybe I should just Jet Assault, but that doesn't feel that good either. Nothing here really feels that great. Goodness. All right, Jet Assault. I guess we're just gonna Jet Assault here. I could retreat and Max Phantom, but then that opens up the opportunity for my opponent to get the first Max Phantom into my VMAX, which is what you kind of want to do. You want to be the first person to hit your opponent's VMAX. So I don't want to give my opponent that opportunity, basically. I'm trying to avoid my opponent getting that opportunity by not putting my VMAX in the active first and giving them the chance to put their VMAX in the active first. There is their VMAX, and they can bring it up. They can max Phantom. So them having Boss here would, of course, be really bad. That would be like kind of the unfortunate part of this one here, is if they have Boss. There's a switch, just another Jirachi, another Stellar Wish. Doesn't really matter. Even if I KO both Jirachis, I can't win the game. I still have to go through a VMAX. So chasing a Jirachi doesn't make a whole ton of sense here. So now they have 2 Reset Stamp in the hand, I believe. They should have a second one in the hand. I think they should have a second one in the hand here. There's the switch to the Dragapult and a Marnie. Okay, so the Reset Stamps are going back into the deck. Marnieing through now. I didn't evolve the active one as well because I didn't want to, yeah, once again, I didn't want them to hit into a VMAX. But now I can Evolution Incense, get that back out of the deck, and evolve this one. The rest of my hand is unfortunately dead. But let's see if our opponent only gets a Shred here anyways. And if they do, actually a play I can make would be to go switch, retreat, and then hit with Jet Assault, not leaving my VMAX in the active. But I'd be getting the first hit with the VMAX, so I could maybe just hard retreat hit here. They're desperate for the energy, though. We see them put Eldegoss down for no effect into the Crobat, and they do find the energy. Okay, so they get the Max Phantom off. Good for them, bad for me. But now they got some 2 prize Pokemon in play. We had this Jirachi set up on the bench with 4, so I can put like 5 damage counters on the Eldegoss. Probably the Crobat would be best. 5 damage counters on the Crobat, and then if I get a boss, you know, the turn after next, I can go boss Crobat, KO Crobat, KO Jirachi, and I don't even have to 3-hit KO their Dragapult VMAX anymore. So that's our new route to look for. Yeah, here comes the Max Phantom. We can also stamp our opponent to 1 now. They did take this knockout, so now we can stamp our opponent to 1, and put a hurting on them that way. We definitely want to evolve this to make sure it's kind of like protected for the rest of the game. And I'm actually going to put this Unidentified Fossil in play to simply discard it this turn as well, because if they stamp me or Marnie me or whatever, I don't want this back in the deck. So let's go with Energy Spinner. Oh, I guess I didn't need to play the Spinner because we top decked an Energy there. Evolution Incense. Dragapult. I'm going to attach to the bench one as well. Throw this down. I don't want to leave this in play, though, so we have to immediately discard it. I just don't want it in the deck anymore. And then, yeah, Max Phantom. I could put 5 here. Maybe I should just put 5 here. Where do I want this damage? Is the question. Could just go 5 here on this VMAX. Put 5 here or here just in case if I get the boss, I just win the game. But I'm sure they'll look to pick up one of their Jirachis. They have only 1 scoop up net left, though. So it opens up another win condition. So let's go after it. Let's go after it like that. 5 to the Crobat. If I top deck boss or Pokégear into boss, we do have the boss left in the deck. Our second boss is in the deck. We will win the game next turn. Unless they pick up this Jirachi. They do have 1 scoop up net left. But, of course, that is not super likely to be found if it's just a 1 of left. I still have 24 cards left. I actually have less cards left in my deck as a greens deck than my opponent does. I mean, we do play 4 research, so we can go through our deck pretty aggressively, but it is kind of funny. Here comes a quick ball. They got rid of the Jirachi. Where are they? What are they grabbing is the question. Their bench is full, so unless they have the net, they can't utilize anything they get. We're ahead on the hitting of the VMAX. You know, that's why I said it's so important. It was maybe even correct for my opponent, just like, ooh, they play a Mimikyu. Okay. And they have the scoop up net. Okay, this is definitely a game changer. The Mimikyu is for sure going to be annoying. I'm not going to lie. That's just kind of unfortunate for us that they play that. They can do a lot of damage with that thing, and we can't really do anything about it because of its ability. We can spread more damage on the bench. So we can put like, I want to put like 2 on Jirachi and then 3 here, but then I wouldn't be able to KO the Dragapult VMAX on a boss. But I guess they're out of net, so the same thing on Jirachi is basically, the damage on the Jirachi is basically the same thing. Because, yeah, we'll be able to go boss, KO, Crobat, KO, Jirachi, because they are out of scoop up net now. Now they are completely out of scoop up net. They cannot heal the Jirachis anymore. So there's the Mimikyu. They use the ability. We can't do any damage to it. And if they find a Psychic Energy... Oh, did they just not switch to it? I guess they just didn't switch to it. Oh. They're not even... I guess it wouldn't do that much damage, but... I don't know, I guess I'm kind of confused by that. Alright, Crushing Hammer. Another Tails. But we're still in such a good spot. I think we're still fine. I'm even going to switch to the bench one just to be a little bit safer. Max Phantom. Yeah, they didn't even go to the Mimikyu. They put it in play, but then it's like did not run to it. I almost want to throw all 5 here, but this thing has 2 HP left, so I think we just win no matter what. Unless they could like heal it somehow. I can't think of how they would heal it. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So I still have the Crobat Jirachi play set up. I don't see any way that they can get this out of play. Oh, Cheryl, I guess, would be the only way. They could play a Cheryl. That's something they could play. They could play Cheryl, heal the Dragapults. They completely heal the Dragapults. It would discard all their energy, but then I wouldn't have a win con next turn if I didn't put the damage on the Jirachi. So I guess that's worth playing around, right? Maybe, maybe not. I don't actually know. Perhaps. We're going to play around it anyways. I guess I kind of stumbled into playing around. I wasn't actively trying to play around it until I was like, okay, yeah, Cheryl's a card. All right, let's play around Cheryl. But, you know, I was thinking about playing around it. Or I came to the conclusion that playing around it is a thing. That's the important part. We figured it out. Who knows? They might have a Cheryl. But I think we're going to win. If they do play Cheryl, they can only shred for the turn, which is not very good. If they don't play Cheryl, we just put 2 damage counters on their Dragapult VMAX, and we win the game anyway. So I think we just win here. We'll see. They're playing super slow, so that's always a good thing. Attach to the Mimikyu, but that's after they switched into the Dragapult VMAX. Once again, we can just put 2 damage counters here. It doesn't really matter what's in their active. They have to deal with the fact that this thing has 20 HP left, and I can max Phantom. There's the well played, so I think the writing's on the wall, yeah, and they see it finally, and we walk away with a dub in the mirror match. Which our start looked pretty rough, but my opponent had a really dead turn after their first turn. They got the turn 2 Dragapults, and then from there kind of went downhill. Those early fans to kind of hold them back helped out as well. We end up with the dub in the end with the Greens Dragapult. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the game. If you did, give the video a like and join the content. Be sure to give the video a like. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.